Hello, everyone. Welcome to the webinar. My name is Mary Ann Lianza. I am the Head of Communications at the British Council in the Philippines. Are you ready to be part of the change in STEM? This is a briefing from UK universities on our first full scholarship for women in STEM. A quick note that we are recording this webinar and we will make it available to eligible countries. To start, let me invite Leighton Ernstberger, British Council East Asia Director, Education and English, to formally welcome us and open the session. Leighton?
Welcome, everyone, and thank you for joining us on this webinar here today. You will be hearing from our partners in the three universities, University of Glasgow, who will be offering courses related to energy transition and climate change, Liverpool John Moores University, offering courses related to health and life sciences, and the University of Stirling, offering courses related to agriculture. And also during the question and answer session, we'll also be joined by a colleague from UK Visa and Immigration to also help us with any related queries. So the British Council is very pleased to be sharing with you our first full scholarship scheme, the British Council Scholarships for Women in STEM. The British Council, hopefully, as you know, has the mission to build connections, understanding and trust between people in the UK and the world through arts, culture, education and the English language. We feel that this scholarship will offer you the opportunity to join the alumni network of 90 women across the Americas, South Asia and Southeast Asia on this Women in STEM scholarship. The UK's academic reputation is world-renowned, as is our research excellence. We're ranked second in the world for science and research, and 54% of our output is world leading. When you study here, you can be sure that you'll be working along some of the best minds and using some of the best technology in the world. Hopefully, you'll gain lifelong connections and will also be able to inspire the next generation of women in STEM. I hope you'll find this session useful, and I wish you all the best with your applications. I'll hand back now to Mary Ann.
Thank you, Leighton, for that warm welcome. We are pleased to have with us today the three UK universities who will share their programs, criteria, and application processes. But before we begin, if you have any comments or questions for our speakers, please feel free to put them in the comment section, and we will get answers for these during the Q&A. As Leighton mentioned, we will be joined by our colleague and a guest from the British High Commission to respond to your question. Our first speaker is from the University of Glasgow. International Recruitment Manager Shauna Mack will talk to us about the scholarships that they offer in the areas of energy transition and climate change. Shauna?
Thanks, Marianne. I'm just going to share my screen. Always tricky on these things, so hopefully it'll work. And you should be able to see my presentation. I'm also going to try and be very technical today and lead with a very short video, first of all, just to give you a little bit of a taste of life at the University of Glasgow. So fingers crossed that that works for me and that you can all see and hear this video. So hopefully that video has given you all a little bit of a flavour of what we offer at Glasgow, and you'll notice the reference to future world changers sort of throughout that video and a lot of our marketing material, as we truly believe that both our staff and students have the ability, and many have done so, to change the world in the research in what they learn when they're studying with us at the University of Glasgow. So I just put together a couple of facts and figures on the screen for you about our university. We are a top 100 university, and we are incredibly proud to have been awarded the UK University of the Year towards the end of last year by the Times Higher Education Awards. We're a pretty large university. We have just under 30,000 students from all over the world, so over 140 countries, including all of the Southeast Asia countries. We're proud to have lots of you studying with us across all our subject areas, and we're a member of the prestigious Russell Group, which is a group of research-intensive UK universities. It's quite often compared to the Ivy League in the US or the Group of 8 in Australia, and we are currently second in that Russell Group for overall student satisfaction, which again is really important for us. That research element is incredibly important, but the enjoyment and the satisfaction that you get during your studies is just as important to us. So a little bit of an overview here about Glasgow. We are one of the largest cities in the UK. We are the 4th largest city in the UK, and although Edinburgh is the capital, we are the largest city by quite some bit in Scotland. We are easily connected to the rest of the UK by rail and air, and we've actually just been awarded for the second time, hot off the press this morning, the world's friendliest city by Rough Guides. It's an incredibly vibrant and multicultural city, and a lot of that is actually driven by the student population. There are actually 4 universities across the city of Glasgow, so there's an incredibly international, incredibly young population, both within the student community and the wider community. We're really lucky in Glasgow. It's a really cosmopolitan, vibrant city. We've been voted the European City of Culture. We're a UNESCO City of Music. There's lots of events that happen across the city, but we're also an incredibly beautiful green space as well. The name Glasgow actually means Dear Green Place, and we're only a short distance to Loch Lomond and some of the beautiful mountain scenes that you perhaps associate when you think of Scotland. So speaking of events, Glasgow will be hosting the United Nations Climate Change Conference later this year. This is actually the first time this event has ever been held in the UK, and really offers a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for those of you who will be in the UK at that time and interested in tackling the climate change to get involved. While the main conference itself will actually be closed to the general public, there is literally going to be hundreds of events leading up to and during the conference, including a number held on the university campus. So there will be lots of opportunity for you to get involved. So the 3 programmes that we have on offer for this scholarship are all housed within our College of Science and Engineering, which is one of the largest colleges within the University of Glasgow. It's home to 7 academic schools and the Scottish University's Environmental Research Centre. We have just over 2,000 research and teaching staff and around 600 PhD students studying with us, and that's just in Glasgow. We actually do have a large T&E operation in both China and Singapore within this particular college as well. So the 2 academic schools for these programmes are housed. We have the School of Geographical and Earth Sciences, which is currently ranked 5th in the UK by both The Guardian and the Complete University Guide. And Geography at Glasgow is actually currently ranked within the top 50 in the world, with the last Research Excellence Framework recognising the research produced within the department as top in the UK within the geography field. The James Watt School of Engineering is home to a wide range of engineering disciplines, including electronic and electrical engineering, which again ranked top in Scotland and 5th in the UK. We have a number of incredibly strong research links across Southeast Asia as well, in addition to that T&E operation that I mentioned, particularly in the area of flood risk management, where we've got some really high profile research collaborations in Vietnam, Philippines and Thailand. Like all UK universities, we have a huge number of clubs and societies that you can join to enhance your student experience. I don't have time to talk to you about all of those today, but I do just want to draw your attention to two of these that may be of particular interest. These are both fantastic groups, the University of Glasgow Women in STEM Society and FemEng, which are networks of women, although there are sometimes men involved with these societies as well, that are student-led to work and promote and celebrate the work that women do in STEM. So it's a fantastic networking opportunity, but it's also a really good opportunity for you to help with outreach work in the local area to encourage more young women to study STEM related subjects, something which I'm sure you're all incredibly passionate about. So this fantastic opportunity with the British Council gives you the opportunity to apply for 3 of our world-changing programmes. So the first one of these is the MSc in Earth Futures. So this is a challenge-led programme, and it's interdisciplinary across both physical and social sciences, really designed to equip you with the skills to work across multiple sectors to address global emergencies. It's a project-driven learning course, which means that it's not really assessed in the more traditional way that you might think of at university. Yes, there's lectures and seminars, but you'll also be assessed on your ability to organise events, manage budgets, you'll create vlogs to promote topical issues. So a really innovative way to learn. There's also a compulsory placement as part of this course, which again, I can talk to people about in a bit more detail on a one-to-one basis if they've got questions about that. The entry requirements for this particular course are on the screen there. So we're looking for an undergraduate degree in humanities, physical sciences or social sciences, although we will consider professional experience. And we're generally looking for a GPA of around 3 or above, although obviously that varies country by country. You may be aware that floods are the most common natural disaster across Southeast Asia, and we know that many of the governments in the region are keen to ensure that future leaders are equipped to help manage the risk and impact of this challenge. This programme gives you a really in-depth understanding of all sort of issues relating to water, including flood risk management, ecosystem health and restoration. You'll get the opportunity to do your research project either in collaboration with industry or in one of our really active research groups. And there is a residential field trip that you take part in the first semester. Again, the entry requirements there on the screen. So again, same sort of level GPA, we are looking usually for a GPA of around 3 or above across a number of different subjects there. So geography, environmental science, biological sciences, maths, stats, basically anything with quite a heavy number component to it. And the final programme that is on offer for us with this scholarship is our MSc in Sustainable Energy. So the average temperature in Southeast Asia has risen every decade since the 1960s, and Vietnam, Myanmar and the Philippines are actually, they're 4 of the 10 countries that have been most affected by climate change in the last 20 years. So again, we know this is a really key issue being faced in the region. This degree is designed to help develop future leaders and decision makers in the energy business. So you'll learn all about the key principles that underpin climate change, as well as understanding more about some of the alternative energy sources that are there. This is a really evolving area. So we, in addition to our academic lectures, we regularly have industry speakers and guest lecturers in to talk to you about the work that is going on in the different industries that underpin this area. A lot of our students as well, so again, all of these programmes are incredibly international. We have students from all around the world studying with us, and lots of them will choose to do their research project related to an area that's impacting in their home country. So again, we can help connect you with students that have done projects in areas that you might be interested in, or you may have a totally new idea as well. And again, the entry requirements are there on the screen for you. So we're looking for an undergraduate degree, usually in engineering or physical sciences or maths. So we want you to be part of the solution. You know, these are some big issues facing us across the world, and we want you to join us on one of these 3 world-changing programmes. So please do apply now if you've not already done so already. You can apply directly through our website. It is a fairly short application, and just double check the required documents. So for most of these programmes, what we're looking for is copies of your academic transcript, evidence of your English language and a reference letter. Admissions turnaround can take a little bit of time, so we would encourage you to apply early, and there is a separate scholarship application that needs to be completed as part of your application as well. Hot off the press, we have actually just extended the deadline for this particular scholarship as well, so the deadline that we'll be accepting applications for will be the 4th of April 2021. So any questions, please feel free to get in touch. You can either drop me an email, or I've put a couple of example profiles here on the slide here. We have some UniBuddy profiles on our website where you can live chat either with myself or a number of the team who are actually based across Southeast Asia as well. So thank you very much, Marianne. I will stop sharing my screen, hopefully, and pass you over to the next presenter.
Thank you, Shauna. So again, the University of Glasgow eligible scholarships are for Earth Futures, Environments, Communities, Relationships, Sustainable Energy, and Sustainable Water Environments. Now for the scholarships under Health and Life Sciences, we have with us Rosalind Harrison, Regional Manager for Southeast Asia from Liverpool John Moores University. Rosalind?
Thank you, Marianne. Hopefully you can all see my screen, okay? Yeah, okay. Well, good morning from Liverpool. Like Marianne said, my name is Rosalind Harrison, and I look after students from Southeast Asia at Liverpool John Moores University. We are one of 6 universities based in Liverpool, and we're really excited to be partnering with the British Council to offer students from Southeast Asia these scholarships for women in STEM. Liverpool as a city is not very big, so just under 500,000 people are in Liverpool, but it's a really beautiful city, very multicultural. As a university, we have just over 20,000 students, with 15% of our student body coming from outside the European Union. So it's a very large, healthy student body representing over 120 different countries from around the world. In terms of location, in case you haven't been, Liverpool is all the way up in the northwest. Like I said, it's a really nice city, quite easy to get around if you want to travel in the UK. Manchester is probably the biggest city next door to us, just under an hour away, but it's also quite easy to get down to London, 2 hours direct train to get to London. Or students, a lot of our students will go to Wales because we just border Wales, or get a train up to Scotland, or a ferry across to Ireland. So it's a really good location for anyone coming to the UK. Our university, Liverpool John Moores, is right in the city of Liverpool, so we're a city centre university. We have 2 campuses that are spread across the city. And for students who would be joining one of the STEM scholarship programs, you'd be on our main city campus, so in Byram Street. That's where we have all the health and science-related programs. Everything is within walking distance, so most of our students don't need to use a bus or a train or a taxi to get around everything. All the accommodation is also city centre based, so within a 5 to 10 minute walk from most places. This is just a short campus tour. There is no sound, so I'll just walk you through it. But just to give you an idea, sorry, let's see if it will play, of what some of our buildings look like. So this James Parsons building houses our Faculty of Science and part of Technology. And all the buildings are self-contained, so when you get in, you wouldn't have to go to other buildings for any of your lectures or labs. There's always somewhere to grab some food. We have Starbucks operations in all our buildings, places where students can just hang out, charge their phones in between lectures. And this building actually has 2 of these facilities. And like I said, all the lab equipment is in the same place. So even with COVID, because everything is already quite socially distanced, a lot of the practicals have been able to go ahead. So we have a lot of these short videos on YouTube. If you want to see what the Faculty of Health looks like, it would be worth just go on our YouTube channel and do a quick campus tour. So in terms of the scholarship, these are the eligible countries where students can apply from. All this is also on our website. And Liverpool John Moores is partnering on the scholarship with 2 of our faculties and with specific programs. So in total, there are 11 programs on offer. The majority are in the Faculty of Science, and then we do have some in the Faculty of Health. All these programs have an IELTS requirement of 6.5, except the MA in Mental Health, which has an IELTS requirement of 7.0. Most of these programs do require you to have a background in the field of study. The main exception is probably the MSc in Public Health or MSc in International Public Health, where you could have studied something different, but then they would be looking that you're either working in public health or have some work experience in that field of study. We've added all this information to our website, and all the programs are hyperlinked, so this makes it quite easy for you to find which programs are on offer. So if you go to our website, ljmu.ac.uk, just click on International and then Postgraduate Scholarships, and you will find this page. If you click on any of the programs, so this is just an example of what it would look like. So for like the MSc in Biomedical Sciences, there's an overview of the program. There's a video there to give you more information just to make sure it's exactly what you're looking for. And then there's an entry requirements section. So if you click on the entry requirements, it will tell you exactly what we are looking for from students who are looking to study that program. So for this program in Biomedical Sciences, of course, they're asking for students either to have a first degree in that or another related biological science. In some cases, we know that students may have like a diploma, but then have significant work experience. So our admissions team would take that into consideration. And most of these degrees would ask for probably a 2-1 equivalent. So if you're not sure on the equivalence for the country you're applying for, again, just send me an email and I can let you know before you spend time putting in an application. It will also tell you the IELTS requirement for that program. So this tells you it's 6.5 with a minimum band of 6.0. The application form is on our website. There is no application fee. It's really simple. It shouldn't take you more than 15-20 minutes to fill in. Just fill in all your information. You can upload your documents. So our admissions team are looking for the following. To be able to make an offer, everything in red would need to be received when you submit your application. So when putting together your personal statement, try to make it as specific as possible because you're applying for a postgraduate degree. So why are you applying for that degree? Why have you chosen to study in the UK and why at Liverpool John Moores University? Most of this information you would be able to find looking at the modules on the website. And then we do ask for at least one academic reference. The MA in Mental Health does ask for 2 references. One can be from your employer, and then of course translated qualifications. So whatever you've studied, if you haven't yet studied, then just send us whatever you have up to date. Without these, we wouldn't be able to make a decision on whether you can study with us. If you've already taken IELTS or any English proficiency test, you can submit it. If not, then you can send it after you get a decision from the university. In terms of the scholarship, everything that's covered is on our website as well. There's a lot of information there, so just try and visit and read through so that you understand what is covered. But it is a full scholarship, so all your fees and stipend would be included. And it is possible to work up to 20 hours in the UK as a student. If you haven't yet taken IELTS, we would be able to reimburse that if you're shortlisted, of course. And for students who maybe missed the IELTS score by a point or two, we would be offering a 12-week pre-sessional online at the moment. That's the way we're going. Who can apply again? All the eligibility of who can apply is on the website. Of course, it's targeting women, and you need to be a resident living in one of the eligible countries. You shouldn't be a dual citizen with the UK. So just look at everything to make sure before you submit an application that you are eligible for this. In terms of the timeline, between now and the 7th of March, we would ask you to submit an application for admission to study one of the programs, because you need to have an offer letter to be able to apply for the scholarship. Our STEM application deadline is the 24th of March. We just extended it recently. But if you have applied by the 7th of March, our admissions team will make sure that you have received a decision in time for the STEM application. You should receive an email or more information if you have been shortlisted or chosen for the scholarship by the middle of May. And then our online pre-sessional will probably start mid to end of June. And in September, you would be studying with us physically here in Liverpool. The STEM application, again, is on our website. So the minute you get an offer from the university, please head over to the same page where the scholarship is. There's a link for the application form. Click on it, enter your information again. It's not very long, but there are some detailed questions which will help us when selecting candidates. So spend some time, do some research, and put everything together, and then submit it. Once you submit your application, we will get in touch with you to let you know that we have received it. We do get a lot of questions about COVID, and at the moment, all the programs are being delivered online because of the UK lockdown. But when we did open last year in September, we had already prepared for face-to-face with all our students. So we have made our campus as COVID secure as possible. And I think literally every UK university has the same. We have our own testing center for students. If a student needs to isolate, there is a lot of support from the university in terms of food packages. We've got doctors that can be called upon in case a student is seriously ill. All the buildings are COVID safe, like we would like to call them. Everything is one-way systems. We have marshals around the building. And we get a lot of support from our student union. So they have an isolation support team that just helps students who are isolating, because a lot of international students that arrived in September had to isolate for 10 to 14 days. So they were able to go shopping for students, bring it straight to their rooms. So we have put a lot of measures in place, but of course we have to wait to see how things progress. If you have any questions, my information is also on the scholarship page. Send me an email, I'll get back to you. Yeah, we're just really excited to be able to work with the British Council, and yeah, we look forward to receiving your applications. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rosaline. You have a long list of programs under Health and Life Sciences Scholarship. Again, for Liverpool John Moores University, you can check their website for the list of all the programs that are available for scholarship. Now, to talk to us about the scholarships in agriculture, we have with us the International Recruitment Manager for Southeast Asia, Kirsten McGregor from the University of Stirling. I think your mic is mute, Kirsten.
course, this was the moment that my computer decided it wanted to do updates. I think you should be able to hear me now. I just had a little moment. But I'm here to talk to you about the University of Stirling and the courses that we have available for the Women in STEM Scholarship, which is a fantastic opportunity. I'm just going to show you my slideshow with a lot of information about the university. Like Shona, I am going to try and share a video with you first, so you can hear the audio here. So that should have just given you a little bit of an overview about the University of Stirling. As it's not one of the most famous cities in the UK, so you might not have heard of Stirling, but it is an amazing place to be and to study. So the University of Stirling was founded in 1967, and it was the first new university in Scotland for over 400 years. So we identified the need for specific programs and a university in this particular area. So it's absolutely fantastic. Located in central Scotland, it is almost exactly halfway between Glasgow, which is the biggest city, and Edinburgh, which is our capital city. So you've got fantastic access to both of these, as well as the facilities around Stirling. And it is a place where ability, not background, is valued. This is a picture of Stirling Castle, and it's actually my favourite castle in Scotland. And you will probably know Scotland is quite famous for having a lot of these, but definitely my favourite. We are a QS World 5-star institution, and we are Sports University of the Year. So health and well-being is a big part of our culture at Stirling. And we have also won Queen's University Prize, which I'll talk a little bit about later when I get on to talking about the programmes. You'll be able to go online and have a bit of a look at our virtual campus tour. This is just a really quick overview of it, but it shows you all of the facilities, including our accommodation, our medical centre, and we even have a cinema and theatre on campus, our own smaller castle than Stirling Castle itself. So it's all in one really convenient area, very safe and secure. And I find that it helps international students to fit in and make friends because you see the same people walking about the lovely campus often. And we are first in the UK and top 5 in the world for campus environment. This is a lot to do with our green space and nature, as well as our facilities. This is the smaller castle that we do have on campus, and I would have loved the opportunity to have my office in there, but it is still used by the university. We have a really beautiful library with great views out over the loch, which is the Scottish word for lake, so you can really take advantage of the spaces there. And this is some of our campus redevelopment. We are investing over £40 million in the campus, building a fantastic new sports centre and redeveloping the heart of our campus. So by the time some of you come to study with us, this should all be up and running and you'll be able to take advantage. So student life at Stirling. As I mentioned, we have our own small castle, supermarkets, shops and cafes, and the supermarket on campus is really well stocked with lots of the ingredients and treats that you may miss from home. One of my particular favourites that I do like to get in the shop is Indomie noodles, and I'm sure quite a few of you also enjoy them. Again, cinema and theatre, a whole array of different clubs and societies, some of which are very, very practical, like our student managed investment fund, where you can learn to trade on the stock exchange. And some of those are much less practical, but may still be something you want to get involved in, like the Yogurt Appreciation Society. So there's definitely something for everyone. We have golf course, tennis centre, an Olympic swimming pool and fantastic gym facilities. And you are able to work up to 20 hours a week with your student visa, and there are opportunities on campus and in Stirling City. But I will say, just be careful if you are looking for part-time employment, because you are coming to take advantage of fantastic studies and get your master's degree, so you don't want to overwork yourself and really throw yourself into your studies. As I mentioned, we have accommodation on campus, and you are able to see a video of the different facilities. We also have studio apartments as well as shared apartments and family townhouses if you would be bringing any of your children to the UK with you. So the courses and subject areas that are available through the Women in STEM programme are all in our Institute of Aquaculture. So it is the MSc in Sustainable Aquaculture, which is a really flexible degree, and you can choose from a variety of specialisms, including aquaculture and the environment, aquaculture business management, aquaculture and development, and aquatic food security. Also available is routes through the MSc in Aquatic Pathobiology, which involves looking into different waterborne diseases and how we then can develop food security around the world. And also the MSc in Aquatic Veterinary Studies. This is largely to do with fish farming and ensuring that all those areas are as safe and secure as possible to help address changing needs for food. As I mentioned, we have won the Queen's Anniversary Prize, and we have invested 17 million to develop a new Institute of Aquaculture and really enhance that, the facilities that we do have. So why would you come to study with us aquaculture? It is actually the largest Institute of Aquaculture in the world. And the Queen's Anniversary Prize is the UK's highest academic honour. We won this because we lead the world in our vision to tackle global problems of food security, hunger and sustainability through aquaculture. We are a global leader in this field with our research, teaching and facilities, and support the development of aquaculture worldwide. So we have access to a huge network of different institutions and businesses that work in this field. Many of them are located across Southeast Asia, in Vietnam, Philippines, Thailand, all around the globe. We have really strong connections between our academics and academics around the world. And our facilities for aquaculture are fantastic, allowing you to access a range of different environmental conditions to test your theories and practices. So we have marine, freshwater, temperate and tropical systems, including recirculating aquaculture systems, our challenge unit, constant temperature rooms, our hatchery and invertebrate. We have large supplies of fish, which makes it feel a little bit like an aquarium when you go to visit, so it's really exciting. And some of the entry requirements for these programs is a minimum of a second class honours degree, so that's a 2-2 or equivalent. So you can ask me if you have any problems working out equivalencies from your country to the UK system. It doesn't have to be in the exact field of aquaculture, but we are looking for something kind of numeric or science-based, like biology, chemistry, engineering, something like that that can tie in well with aquaculture. And we do encourage applicants without these formal qualifications, but a lot of work experience to be able to apply. So again, if you wonder if you fall into that category, you can get in touch with me and we can help you work that out. And the English language requirement for this course is 6.0 overall, with no subskill below 5.5. We can accept other tests than IELTS. There's a whole list of equivalencies on our website, and if you've potentially done a bachelor's degree in English, that's something we can also take into consideration. If you're not able to meet the English language requirement and you're slightly below, or you don't have access to any of the tests, you can take a pre-sessional English language course. And with the Women in STEM Scholarship, we are able to provide a 12-week online pre-sessional English programme for those eligible. So the full details are available on our website, but the scholarship will cover your tuition fees, living costs, travel costs and a return flight home, all the equipment and study costs for 12 months, plus an online pre-sessional if that's something that you need, but you would study that from your home country. A lot of this has kind of been covered by the other two presenters, but you have to be a citizen of one of the Southeast Asian countries mentioned as specified by the British Council, and be a woman, cisgendered or trans, or identify as non-binary. You have to meet the course requirements and get an offer to study with us. You can't have previously studied in the UK. You must be able to start in September 2021 and demonstrate the need for financial support. So this is outlined in our application form. It just asks you a little bit about your background. So if you give us plenty of information there. And once you complete your degree, you must return to your country for a minimum of 2 years. And this is something so that you're actually using your degree to help your country. So the application form is available on the website, and you should complete the form and send it to the email address on screen by the 24th of March 2021. So how to apply for the course and the scholarship? So for the course, we need your academic transcripts from your undergraduate degree and your degree certificate. All of the documents must be in English. We need an academic reference from someone like a supervisor or a tutor that you've worked with before. A personal statement stating why you want to study the course, why you're suitable, and why you want to study with us at Stirling. English language evidence, and there isn't an interview for the programme. You can apply before you have all of the documentation and be given a conditional offer, allow you to meet the criteria before the start date. But the minimum we need is your academic transcripts, your degree certificate, and your personal statement. For the scholarship application, you must have an offer for the course, and it can be a conditional offer. You must complete the application form, which is linked there, by the 24th of March. Carefully outline your situation on the form, and if you have any questions, you should email me, and my email address is on the screen, but it's also on the scholarship web pages. And I know that everyone is a little bit worried about the global situation at the moment, so we've put in place a lot of support options during the global pandemic. So to enter all of the university buildings, there is a QR code scanner. That helps us know who's been in the building and who they may have been in contact with. There are temperature checks at entrances. They're like kind of robot boxes that scan your forehead and make sure that you are at a safe temperature. Hand sanitizing stations kind of around the university. There's enhanced cleaning and mandatory face coverings in enclosed spaces. We have put in place a lot of interactive online learning. Assessment recorded sessions is very, very interactive. Updated and enhanced our accommodation support. And we also have free no symptom tests available on campus. So if you're concerned, you can go and get tested even if you aren't showing any symptoms. As things progress, we do aim to have as much face-to-face teaching in person as possible, but we do have to closely follow the government guidance. And as you'll be aware, this changes quite frequently, but we do hope that by September, we will be able to offer more face-to-face teaching. So thanks for listening to me, and please do get in touch. And I do hope that you join us at Stirling and help to be the difference.
Thank you so much, Kirsten. So again, scholarships in agriculture are available for those with acceptance letters for Masters of Science degrees in Sustainable Aquaculture, Aquatic Pathobiology, and Aquatic Veterinary Studies. Now we're moving on to the question and answer portion. We have received a lot of questions from some of you during the registration for this webinar. Some of the questions were very specific, some were about visas, and some were for the British Council. We will be covering the most popular questions today, and we will also be coming up with a frequently asked questions sheet that we will make available in the next few days through our websites. So let's start with the visa questions. So to answer those, we have with us Harry Booty, UKVI International Communications Lead from the UK Home Office, UK Visas and Immigration of the British High Commission. Hello, Harry. We have a question for you.
Hiya. Hope you can hear me all right.
Yes, we can hear you. So questions for you are, number one, in the context of COVID, are there any requirements to enter the UK and like visa policies, including visa requirements for dependents that applicants should be aware of?
Yes, there's a lot. There's a lot to be aware of. To try and give a short answer, in terms of the visa process, applying for visa, that's broadly the same, which is that you'd apply for a student visa. You'd meet the requirements, for example, finance. If you're a scholar, you can provide evidence of scholarship. Some health requirements, for example, a TB test for some countries. Academic documents, that's the normal process. You'd go through that. Dependents are eligible. Postgraduates can take dependents. If you're going on an undergraduate course, for example, a Bachelor of Science, you can't take a spouse or a child. But if you're going for a master's course or higher level, for example, PhD, you're able to take a husband, wife, or child, provided you can prove the relationship with them and show finance to cover their cost of living as well, what we call a maintenance requirement. So the visa process is broadly the same. Visa application centres are open. In terms of travelling to the UK, this isn't a visa requirement. It's more of a border health requirement. So it only comes when you actually go to the UK. But currently everybody has to get tests and gets quarantined, like I think everybody does in most countries nowadays. You get one test before you go, 2 tests after you go, and you pay for the 2 tests in the UK via gov.uk. So it's like a package that you pay for before you go. That's mandatory for everybody at the moment. Then all students who I'm guessing are here from this region wouldn't have to go to a hotel quarantine. That's mandatory for some countries, but not for Southeast Asia or anywhere in Asia, actually. But they do have to quarantine at home or wherever. That could be student halls or a dedicated hotel provided by a university or anything like that. So that would be for 10 days. And then assuming you get those negative tests, you would leave. And that would be for the dependents as well. So yeah, so the visa process is the same. Dependents possible. Yes, there are testing and quarantine requirements due to coronavirus, but and that's mandatory for everybody. But that comes at the point of travel to the UK, not for the visa. You don't, for example, need a coronavirus test to apply for your visa. You just need it basically 3 days before, up to 3 days before you fly to the UK.
Thank you, Harry. That's very useful. I have another question related to that. So you mentioned about sometimes you need other documents. So one question is, will the scholarship award letter allow me to waive the financial proof normally required when applying to study in the UK? For example, money in the bank.
Yes, and it's just been flagged to me just to clarify, is that if you're flying into England, Heathrow, for example, those are the hotel quarantine rules that I referenced, aka you don't need them, but Scotland actually has a universal policy. So everybody, if you're arriving directly into Scotland, does need to quarantine. So it's a little complex. Check with your university before you travel, but you should definitely expect to quarantine for 2 weeks. But whether that's at home or in a hotel will depend on if you go directly into Glasgow or Edinburgh or into Heathrow in London. So there's that. For the student visa process, yes, you have to show finance. If someone's getting a scholarship, they show the evidence of that scholarship. So for sake of argument, if you've got a full scholarship, all your fees and living costs, you would show the evidence of that scholarship, and you don't need to show finance. If you got a partial scholarship, for example, your course fee was £10,000 and you had a scholarship of £5,000, you would show the scholarship fee plus the finance money for the remaining £5,000 or however much it is. So you can do a mix of sources, or it can be the whole source depending on how much the scholarship covers. In addition, you'd have to show academic documents. That's generally shown. The university will provide what we call a CAS, Confirmation of Acceptance of Studies, and that will list the documents that A, it'll say what academic documents you need, and B, it will be the English language testing that the university is doing for you. Those are the requirements that you need to meet. For example, if someone referenced IELTS 6.5, if they say that, then that's what you need to get for your visa as well. It's set out by university, and then UKVI will see the same information. Separately, most countries, I think in Southeast Asia, require a TB test. That's from a registered provider by UKVI. There are several in all in the countries from where people will be joining us from, and that is basically a scan to prove that someone doesn't have tuberculosis. It's mandatory for many countries, and that has to be submitted alongside your visa application when you visit a visa centre. A final point just on dropped out. Sorry. Yeah, sorry. I think my internet froze. Final point, some application centres are open across the region. Some are temporarily closed. For example, Yangon in Myanmar is temporarily closed due to the local situation in there, but we are generally university open, so you should be able to apply for your visa. And if we do close, whether for coronavirus or another reason, we are opening as soon as we can after. So of course it's an uncertain situation, but generally you should be able to apply for your visa, and generally you should be able to go to the UK, but of course you should expect more tests, more requirement to quarantine and stuff like that. So apply as soon as you can, give as much time as possible to plan all this, and you should be fine.
Thank you, Harry. So I also said a while ago that we also had questions for the British Council, so we can probably call in our colleague Leanne Tash. She is our Senior Education Services Manager, to help us answer questions for the British Council. So one question, Leanne, for the British Council is, for example, they've already become a scholar. Can they apply for the graduate route after completing the STEM course?
Hi, everyone. I hope that you can hear me. Regarding that question, yes, for the scholars who took the Women in STEM scholarship, you can apply for the graduate route. But please be reminded that the scholarship will not cover any expenses when you apply for that graduate route. So yes, the answer yes, you can apply for the graduate route after you complete the STEM course that is funded by this scholarship.
Thank you, Lian. Okay, so now we have, I'm conscious of time. We only have 3 minutes, but so we will be asking the questions, and I think some our speakers are willing to stay on to also answer some of the questions. We're already replying to some of them on the Q&A, but we will also be raising the other questions here. So we have a question here on whether the courses will be delivered, and I think you've already covered some of this in the presentation, but will the STEM courses be delivered online or blended? Like, will they be online or do they have to be there on campus? So we start with, I'm going to see within my screen. I have Kirsten up here. Kirsten?
Yeah, so we do aim to have as much face-to-face teaching as possible. It is very likely that there will be lots of blended options, like our lectures are likely to be online but live. Again, it's quite hard to predict what the situation is going to be. We do try and keep up to date with all of the government guidelines, but we do want to teach as much face-to-face as possible. There's lots of positives in the UK at the moment with vaccination programs and things, so fingers crossed and things will start to go back to normal. And I really do wish I had a crystal ball.
Thank you, Kirsten. Rosalind, is it the same with?
Yeah, I think it's exactly the same. We're waiting for guidance from the government. But because a lot of our programs are in science and health, practicals probably will still be held face-to-face. As soon as the government says we can open up, that's our plan. Probably some theory will be done online, but we do expect students to come to Liverpool in September.
Okay, thank you. Rosalind, Shauna, any addition?
Yeah, same for Glasgow. I think, you know, we really are sort of subject to waiting to see how things, you know, progress over the next 6 months. I think if I could, my honest answer to students at the moment is I think it is likely that there will still be at least some element of online. I think it is unlikely we will return to full face-to-face teaching by September, particularly for larger lectures. But we want to get back to as much face-to-face teaching as our students want to as well. But I think it would be remiss of me to sit in a session like this and say it will be 100% online, because I think that is probably unlikely. But we are doing all we can and are keen to see as many of you face-to-face as possible as soon as we can.
Thank you, Shauna. So I have another question here. Will there be interviews? And if yes, is it going to be with the university committee or with the British Council team? Leanne, do you want to take that?
Yes, the interview, if needed, will be with universities. The British Council will not do any interview. So you should check with university about the application process.
Thank you. Thank you, Leanne. And then we have another question. I guess it's for the 3 universities. Could I wait to have IELTS test after the committee has made the final decision, or do they need to have it submitted right after the STEM application? So, like, which comes first? Is it, can they give the IELTS test for before or after the application? Let's start with Rosalind.
Yeah, sure. So when students apply, they don't need it to get an offer from the university. We would suggest that they do take IELTS, because it would be required even to take a pre-sessional with us. So the longer they leave it, yeah, I would suggest they take it as early as possible if they intend on studying in the UK, because it would be a requirement to get your visa and to join a pre-sessional if needed.
And is it the same for the other universities, Kirsten? Shauna? Yes? Okay, great. And then another question. Okay, so I'm just going to read this verbatim. It's a bit. So she's from the Philippines. She has a dependent for 3 years from 2016 to 2019. She joined her husband, who was studying his PhD in the UK. And then she says, we are already here in the Philippines since 2019. Would she still be able to apply for the scholarship since she did study during her time there in the UK? So, Shauna?
Yes, I think the answer to that is yes. I think that I can see someone from British Council's maybe answered in the chat. So if as long as the student herself, the applicant herself, has not already studied in the UK, they would be eligible, is my understanding.
Okay, thank you, Shauna. And then it normally takes 28 days to receive the offer from the university, and the deadline for STEM application is March 24. That would be Liverpool. There at Glasgow, I think. Therefore, Sterling. Therefore, I understand that if I want to apply for STEM scholarship this year, I only have until Feb 24 to apply for the university. Is that correct?
I think that's, and as was I had answered somebody in the chat earlier, 28 days is a sort of average turnaround time. What we would say, and I imagine I'm speaking for the other two universities as well, is please apply as soon as possible. Our admissions teams are incredibly busy, and it can take a bit of time for those applications to be turned around. So although the closing dates for the scholarship applications are maybe the end of March or early April, don't apply the day before the scholarship changes and closes and expect to get an offer in that time. I would recommend allowing at least a month to receive your offer, and if you've been waiting for a couple of weeks, then please feel free to drop myself or again, sorry, speaking for Sterling and Liverpool John Moores as well, but please feel free to drop the ladies an email. I'm sure we can check the progress of that, but I really must emphasize that it can take a good couple of weeks to get that offer. That doesn't mean you can't start your scholarship application. You know, it can take a bit of time to do the application form, to think through what you want to say, so you can practice it while you're waiting on the offer, but please don't leave it right up until the last minute to apply for the offer, because I think you'll be disappointed.
Thank you, Shauna. So I know you all have a lot of questions still, but we are down to our last few minutes, so we need to wrap up. Can we ask the universities to please again state the deadline of your for the scholarships? Let's start with Shauna.
I'm just pulling it back up because we have just extended it, so the deadline will be extended to the 4th of April. That's not what it says on the website at the moment, but that website should be updated in the next day or so.
Kirsten?
Yeah, and for the University of Stirling, the application deadline is the 24th of March. Just to echo something that Shona said, please, put in your application for the course as soon as possible, and you can work on your application for the scholarship while you're waiting. And if you just drop me an email when you apply for the courses at Stirling, I can try and help to prioritise those with our admissions team.
Thank you, Kirsten. Rosalind?
Yeah, we've extended it to the 24th of March. So we do ask that the latest date to apply for a program is the 7th of March. But as soon as you do get an offer, submit your scholarship application. Don't wait until the last minute and crash the website.
Yes, do not wait for that moment. Thank you, Rosalind. So we have reached the end of the webinar. I know you all have questions. Please know that we have noted those questions, and those that were not brought out or asked during this Q&A, your British Council country teams or respective universities will get back to you with answers to those. So please, just a plug from me, please follow the social media channels of British Council in your countries for updates on the scholarships and other opportunities. Just search British Council in whatever country you are at. Once again, thank you to our speakers, Shauna, Rosalind, Kirsten, Harry, Lian, and Layton. And a big thank you also to the Thailand comms team working behind the scenes. Many thanks to you all for joining today, and we wish you the best of luck in your applications. Have a good weekend. Bye-bye.